Opportunity where you guys can all come up together, and we do have quite a few opportunities, even on with closing credits, which is part of the Casting Call Club world, where there's paid opportunities that are brought to the school on purpose to give students an opportunity to try it out and do some of these things. And of course, they're not at like the top end of the rates; they're very mid-range, but it's somewhere to start. And a lot of people just go to, I think it's called VA Casting RT on Twitter. Someone here probably knows about it. And it's like a one-stop shop. They do all the repostings of all the things that they find on Twitter and that are linked to them, and then it's just you follow them and you find out this week these opportunities exist, and they're almost exclusively character and video game opportunities. So that's a great way to just kind of self-direct yourself, and yeah, we can always talk about that more. There was someone on this side. Yeah, sure.
What was your favorite character and your most challenging character?
I got to spend the most amount of time with Tien because we did a long series, and so you really got to work through things, and because I really got hurt playing Tien, and that was humbling, meaningful, and I guess like anyone that's like survived their traumas, eventually you're like not mad at the trauma because you have to be like, I guess that was what needed to happen for me to get better at being who I was going to become. And that sucks that it hurt, but humans tend to learn more from pain. Hisoka was one of the most difficult I had to deal with because they're just really, like, they do a lot of bad shit. and they make me really uncomfortable, like as a father and as like a community member that wants people to have safe, happy lives, and then there's like this predator with really some really unfortunate lines and actions. And I get that we can have our playfulness with it, and that they do, they evolve and they change, and that's all really important. But I think it was also important for me to like voice my concerns at the time and not just be like, the job's a job and I don't care. Like I wanted to still come through with some amount of my integrity or have scruples or things like that, where I'd actually say, I do think it's important to play characters even if you disagree with them. Because you're allowed to say no to whatever work you want to say. You're allowed to say yes too, like a political campaign that you don't agree with wants to pay you to do the job, and you're like, well, someone's going to get that money, and do I really care? And if you don't, then you say, yeah, well, I want the job. and if it does make you feel like, I don't want to be associated with that, not that like people are like looking at voice actors. I heard a radio commercial and I wonder who the voice actor is so I can vilify them. That doesn't really happen. But you're also allowed to make those decisions. And so when it comes to playing villains, I think what's quite enticing to a lot of humans that say, I like playing villains, it's not because they want to be villainous, it's because we all have a capacity for light and dark within us, and just like you're not supposed to be emotional out in the world, you're not supposed to ever entertain your darkness, but your characters going through it allows you a poignancy or a catharsis to actually go through it and go, yeah, everybody can justify why they're not the bad guy, right? Like the Joker had reasons, right? And you're especially if you're paying attention, you're also like, shit, that is a part of the dynamic. You have to be okay with some of that's not wrong. I mean, yeah, some of that's wrong. That's wrong. But when it comes to like villains that are saying, like Thanos, like wanting to, time to go. Okay. With the snap, right? Like obviously that's a huge question to get your head around, and yet you can also be like, we're screwing it up around here. Maybe those types of mentalities can come from a person who is actually trying, but trying in a really nihilistic, dire way that we would hopefully never get to, but it's an interesting thing to explore, especially when you can explore it safely through a character, through a piece of media that is, again, you walk out of the booth after, it's like, wow, that was a fun, weird day. Because when else am I going to go through that, where I'm actually going to be calling the shots for 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes of being that type of an energy? The body gets to experience it then, and you still get some understanding of that, and then you get to walk away. What a cool thing. Is that 2 o'clock? Okay, then we better call it there.